think it's pretty safe for me to assume that everyone in this room today is either a son or a daughter. And that includes our contest chair, Mr. Brown, our judges, my peers, and for anyone who's visiting us for the very first time, welcome and enjoy. First things first, let's get the definition of your LOP out of the way. When you hear me refer to your LOP, what I will be suggesting is the likeness of your parent. Your LOP, your likeness of a parent. So, come back with me to a time when you've outgrown the upper basket of a grocery buggy, and you've now grown into the lower level cage. This puts you at about 4 to 6 years old. You're off at the local A&P with your mom. For those of us of a different generation, the local Woolco. And you run into one of your mom's old school friends, and she takes one look at you and she says, "Oh my, you are pretty, just like your mom." Or she takes one look at you and she says, "You are handsome and stocky, just like your daddy." Do you remember how that made you feel? Made you feel proud. And then you turned 14. Every time you run into your Aunt Flo, she reminds you on how you've inherited your mother's jawline. And you can't help but think to yourself, it's probably why I'll never get a decent date. Old Tom up the road, he's compelled to tell you every time he sees you that you've got your father's wavy hair. But what Tom has neglected to notice is that your father has gained a few pounds over the years, and he doesn't have any more hair. And you know, this just gets progressively worse. Knowing full well your father is a DeWalt tool man, you go out and buy your first new power drill, you bring it home to brag, and it's a Black & Decker. My mom, she comes into my brand new home, she stands in front of my kitchen sink and she says, "Annette, where is your petit tapis?" A petit tapis is French for a small carpet that you throw in front of the kitchen sink. It's to carry the spillage of water. Oh, and it's to make you cozy while you're enjoying yourself doing the dishes. 2 things I said to my mother that day. I said, "Ma, I will never have a tapis in front of my kitchen sink. Ma, I will never enjoy myself doing the dishes." Time passes. Parents pass away. Their bodies might be gone, but some things live on forever. Their LOP. Some time ago, I was very fortunate to be able to spend an entire summer up at the lake just north of Aurelia. Every night at 8 o'clock, a group of us parents would get together, head down to the park area to collect our cubs for the night. I should have known something was up on this night because I was the only one standing there. So I looked for my daughter's attention. She finally saw me, and I waved her on home. She headed back, and I followed. As I was heading back, couldn't help but notice, because I was alone, the crackling of the rocks and pebbles beneath my feet, beneath my actual pink flip-flops. The crackling noise was so loud that at one point I actually had to stop and acknowledge the noise that the stones were making. And that's when I made my discovery. First my feet, my stance, and my arms. I wore a hoodie. She wore a 1960s kitten sweater. I was my mother. Not only did my mother visit me in the physical realm that day, but she also had something to say to me. She said, Annette, you have inherited from me the love you feel for your little girl. I loved you the same way. That was my moment of acceptance. But is acceptance enough? Might we not consider embracing our LOP? Inevitably, one of your sons will come home and will ask, Dad, I'm getting ready to go out and buy my first new power tool. What do you suggest? Well, according to your grandpa and I, son, I can only suggest a DeWalt. I, on the other hand, after that encounter with my mother out in the park, I went out and I bought myself the greenest, the shaggiest, the sexiest puppy. And I'm telling you, I have laid that down in front of my kitchen sink, and every once in a while, I warn my family, do not put the dishes in the dishwasher tonight. Tonight, I want to make a connection with my mother. I know I said I would never own a tapis. I know I said I would never enjoy doing the dishes. But I have to tell you, every once in a while when I get on this carpet and my feet get moving, my happy toes, and I immerse my hands in that hot soapy water, oh my gosh, she was right. It's almost spiritual. You all know who I am by my introduction, but what you don't know about me is that I really am proud to be Noella's daughter. And you see this jawline? This jawline is so much a part of my likeness of a parent, and I have learned to embrace it with all of its memories. Are you ready? Are you ready to embrace your LOP?